Well, here we are. Here we are finally at the end of this course. There was a lot of material to take in, but I hope you feel enriched by it. If you would first please hold up your uh, ID, Felician ID, or your driver's license or your passport. Everything will be kept private. And then I'd like you to talk a bit about what you've learned from this class, what inspired you, what was most exciting, what area. One thing that came to mind for me the other day was how we started out in the prehistoric era and where that human being found a pebble that looked like a face. And then we find out that it's not human made. It is made by the water and the wind and created a pebble which looks like a human face. But to remember that it cannot be considered as art because it is not made by a human being. So I found that very exciting and very much in the realm of humanity. Uh, we did a lot recently in the last few weeks about medieval art, and I went to a lecture the other day. Now, when I was living in New Jersey and teaching at Felician University, where I taught and headed the art department for 10 years, I would take the students every year to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and often to the Cloisters Museum in New York City in Fort Tyrone Park. This particular museum, I hope some of you have been there, uh, was put together by the Rockefeller Foundation, the Rockefeller family. They brought ruins of a medieval cloister from France and erected it in New York City so that we could learn and study about medieval art. And it's a marvelous place. Now, I went to this lecture the other day here in Buffalo, New York, at Christ the King Seminary. A friend of mine, Father Xavier Subert, who comes to the Cloisters Museum a few times a year, and they hire him to give tours. And one of his favorite tours is of the unicorn tapestries. So he had a lecture here in Buffalo, New York, where he lives, and here is what we talked about. What he lectured about was these tapestries that are in the Medieval Museum of the Cloisters in New York. And these were discovered and treasured in France, and it's about the lore of the unicorn and the symbolism within these five tapestries. This one here is the major, most popular tapestry. Now, these tapestries are about 8 feet tall, and if you take a tour at the cloisters, you can't miss it. There's a whole room dedicated to the unicorn tapestries, and they're from the 14th, 15th century, and they are all hand sewn by teams of people and hung in castles. These tapestries are hung in homes in order to keep rooms warm in the cold weather because they didn't have the kind of heating that we have today. So these were very valuable, but they're really beautiful too, and they're hand woven. And the unicorn represents very much one of the main symbols of the unicorn is that the unicorn represents Jesus Christ of the Catholic Christian religion. And so I just wanted to share that with you that even though I taught this class every year for many years, I continue to learn and grow in all different details of medieval art. And I wanted to share that with you. So if you would, in your video, do the same, find something interesting either from the course itself or something that's parallel to it about medieval art, about prehistoric art, or Islamic art, or Jewish art, something that's parallel to what we've learned this semester, you can share it in this final video presentation. 5 to 10 minutes, and I look forward to hearing your presentations. You can write down notes and have those ready for when you're speaking. You can read some of it. You can show pictures like I just did, have some prepared and show them uh, in this video so that I can appreciate what you've learned in this class, because it's not just about writing papers and taking tests. It's about what is your takeaway from this course and how can it enrich your life by knowing the history of humanity in the Western perspective of Art History 1. So I look forward to watching your presentation. 5 to 10 minutes. Make it exciting, make it your own. Use pictures. Okay? And you take care. I hope you do well in your final exam and in your final paper. I look forward to reading, and I hope you have a wonderful second semester at Felician University. It's a wonderful place to be, and I miss being there. So, bye. Merry Christmas. Take care.